Project Open Mic. Let's take the show off right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with me, cause
it's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight.
Let's get the topic straight. Let's get things good. Let's do everything that we should.
It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right.
Let's open our minds and take out our style. Let's share what's going on in the world tonight.
It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's take the show off right.
Alrighty, what's going on, guys? Another Thursday. Hope y'all doing well. Everybody's doing great out there, and thank y'all for joining us. We got a chance to join in and have fun with what's going on. I have my lovely wife back with me again for another third episode that we've been doing so far.
Howdy, everyone.
So
I think he's getting spoiled.
Yes, but
Or sick of me, one or the other.
we need a female touch sometimes. We need a female touch.
It's been fun.
Yes. So
I mean, fun is in like putting myself out there.
yes. So tonight we going. Tonight's show is about America. Please grow a backbone. Now there gonna be some stuff that make me think they are growing a backbone, but there's still stuff that's
Got
gonna be.
lipstick. Nobody told you to sneak in a kiss before we show.
Okay, all right. Anyway, we're gonna start a So tonight, there's some things that America is growing a backbone in, and there's some that's still not, of course. So we're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna talk about something that's happening next week in America that's gonna affect a lot of people who are buying a new house.
Yes.
We're gonna also, my usual. I forgot what I never used to say hypocrites. What was I used to say before, man? Because I ain't did this in a while. Heretics. That's it.
Yes.
We're gonna share some more heretics, yeah, because these people know what they're doing, and we'll just go from there. So
I think those topics will really delve into. The housing one is, well, you know how I reacted with.
yes, the housing one will be something like. So with that said, yes. So we're gonna be going through some of those as it needs to be brought about. Cause you know me, when I get to talk about all this crazy stuff, I gotta bring my receipts. Just remember that. All right. So tonight, like I said, we're gonna talk about this. And the reason I labeled that tonight's show is because, again, you all know who I am. I don't want you. I'm gonna label who you is. It's just that. But you know, I'll ask this question before we get into this, because basically it'll go from there. It'll kind of set the mood for the night. Before meeting me and knowing that I had the kind of sensibilities of how it is with my learning and politics and everything.
Your outlook on things.
Well, you see, I separate different because, again, even if there are people, okay, I've said this, I've done a show about this already. A lot of black people are not really Democrat. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about the Democrat we have today. They're not, a lot of black people are not that.
By the definition.
By the definition, no. But because it's the party that they think help them and do the most for them, which to me, in my opinion, they do the worst for black people. But but they still think, oh, family's still important, be this and all of that.
Right.
So that's why I said it. But I'm talking about no. So that I get, but outside difference of like looking at how politics is, how this is, how that has is being, dating me and marrying me showed you stuff, or did it like you had your suspicions and me bringing my receipts kind of solidified or something? What was your view?
I would say without putting a label, because I've not been as vocal about my opinions and views as in reference to political events as much as I have now. And I have not been nearly as interested as I have as of recently. But I would say my character and my personality and the morals that I have as a person have always leaned more conservative, even if I didn't vote conservatively. Um, just because of what my outlook and my perspective on life was. So for me, I feel like for a lot of people, especially in your minority communities, your vote is usually driven culturally or economically.
Mhm.
Enough of us don't vote by basic facts. It's usually one of those things that sway us.
Correct.
And usually when it's culturally, it's usually an emotional um backing behind it, or it's an obligation. It's this kind of mind control, almost, that subliminal messaging with conditioning with a lot of African Americans and minorities, that you're supposed to vote Democrat if you're a minority or if you're black. And saying it now, it sounds so silly. So yeah, I feel like, since meeting you and dating you and marrying you, I don't think so much has changed. I think my view has broadened.
Okay.
I think it's broadened, and I think I've become more. My thinking has become more of a precision opinion. Like, I had certain outlooks on things, and now I was like, okay, now I've delved deeper into that and I understand. And I heard somebody say this too, and it's so true. The older you get, your vote oftentimes is determined on your income bracket and when you understand the impact of taxes. And that is so true. That is so true
Yeah.
to me.
Well, taxes just passed this year, and she had to pay a lot of taxes. That's why she
Well,
said.
I'm a 1099, so
Yeah, but still,
But
still.
yeah.
You,
So
you went to 9 last year. You still paid money. So anyway, sorry. I didn't mean. I just give it a reality check. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Forget.
Oh Lord. Okay. And me myself, and I have my receipts and my backup of this backup of stuff. Is that again? I think we have gotten to a point where both parties have failed. We need a third party. I mean, a third party that you have a third point of vote. Because I've said before, a lot of independents mostly vote Democrat. Just do. That's the sad part about it. They say independent, but most do. That's what the numbers point out.
Do you feel like, what way do libertarians usually vote? Do they usually vote for the Libertarian Party?
Some percentage vote for the Libertarian Party, but most vote more conservative.
Okay.
In that regard, I'll say into that.
Would you consider yourself a conservative libertarian?
Yeah, I've said it before. When it comes to my family, my money, my life, I'm conservative. When it comes to other people, as long as it ain't hurting or killing nobody, I'm liberal. I don't care if you want to turn yourself. If you're 18 and older, you want to turn yourself into a woman, a dog, whatever you want to do. Your money, you do that. My money, my taxpayer money going towards that, I have a problem.
Yeah.
I have no problem with you doing what you want to do with it. If like right now, if I want to go out there and paint myself green and do whatever, I took my money to do that, and I'm not bothering anybody. I should have that right to do that as a libertarian. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to do that, I have no problem with that. I don't have no problem with a person who's 18 and want to you want to be a transgender. You do you what you do. That's your life. You do it. If you think that makes you happy, go ahead, do it. Because you're not hurting nobody else.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have married Ron Swanson. For all my Parks and Rec fans out there.
But I mean, that ain't gotta do nothing with
Right.
me per se.
I got you. And that is a big factor in that party.
Yeah.
Is if you know, it's,
yes.
Let's not let's not have the government over regulating.
I don't want the government is in too many things. And one of the things we're gonna talk about is something that is passed, it's a couple bills. And do I like this passing the bills? Yes. Do I think it should have been done to the government? No. 100% no. But that's the point. We are at a point now that we got to get over-regulated by all this stuff just to pass.
I encourage people, Americans out there, to vote from the basis of a oldie but goodie, a Janet Jackson song. What have you done for me lately?
To be honest, both parties have not done nothing for you lately.
But I say that because a lot of people just vote out of obligation or culture, not from facts or what they are perceiving as meeting the mark,
Yeah.
As so yeah.
Yes. Like I said, when it comes to my money, yes, I'm conservative. I have been in a new rig to do more shows and do stuff and editing and all kind of stuff like that. My wife saw me agonize over what my choices are.
And I'm just like, just press the button.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid
But
off.
yeah, but you know that is.
But yes, he's a frugal man.
Yeah, that's why you don't get broke.
and it's a benefit that he is. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm just it does that. Like even my money, I'm conservative, whatever. Anything happens to you, yes, I am conservative as hell. I don't want nobody doing anything to my wife, nor my sister, nor your family, nor my family. I'm conservative as heck. Now, if somebody in my family does, and there are people in my family, you are, but done stuff that I don't agree with, and they didn't want to be the wolves is me problem, I'm the real on that. Go right ahead. You stepped into the nonsense. That's what you want me to say.
Right.
But that, and then of course, my stance I would say that I'm strongly about, that's outward speaking, is keep your hands off the kids. I don't care about that. I want schools to be back to ABCs, 1, 2, 3s.
Yes.
Let's do that.
And that's sad. That has to be political. That's sad that it has to be a divide as to specifically children being taught things that are educational and leaving. First of all, just leaving gender conversations out the door for me personally.
Yeah.
When I was in 5th grade, we grew up, you got permission from the parents for them to sit into the birds and the bees talk. The boys and the girls were divided. That's how it worked out for us. And they had someone come in and talk about your reproductive system. For girls, we talked about what to expect when your menstrual cycle comes on, how babies come into play, all of that stuff.
See,
and that was something that you got permission.
Okay. No, I'm not against it.
And I feel like that was appropriate time, because I was one of those girls that the next year my cycle came on. Now, mind you, my mother had me and her had conversations, and the book that they gave you was called Growing Up and Liking It. And all of us made these little sarcastic, I was a very sarcastic 5th grader. We made these sarcastic jokes about what's the like, you just make your little snide comments. But it was a good guidance book, especially for parents who might have struggled having that opening of how to conversate with their child. But nonetheless, it was a healthy platform. The teachers who were sitting in were a gender-free teacher. They were there to talk about these facts of life, because that's what they were. But I guess now maybe that would be so taboo to split girls and boys up, because they're trying to redefine the whole gender, You don't know if you're a girl or boy yet, side of thing. But that's how it was growing up for me, and it was simplified. And if you were a parent who did not want your child to sit in, okay, you declined. They went somewhere else, or you just kept them out of school. That it, what have you. That was your choice as a parent. But now they're sliding in things at second, third grade years old, having discussions with them that are really they're over sexualized conversations and early conversations for any child to be having. And it's inappropriate because this is not a conversation they should be having at school. That's not the time for them to use their opportunity to do that. That's between that child and their household. And yes, if people in the leftist party feel that people are overreacting or being inappropriate in our response, no, it shouldn't be a political divide. Everybody should be on the side of keeping these gender fueled conversations out of the schools. You know,
Mhm.
and we know what it is. It's a lot of conditioning going. And if you ask a child over and over again something, they're gonna just start to respond with whatever they think you
Went wrong
want
in our
them to
culture.
hear, and that becomes very toxic. So
That is true. That is true. So, okay. So, like I said, I think where the Pew Research just came out just a while ago. I should have had the clip up for that, but I don't. They just came out with saying if this is the worst American has been, and 75% of Americans say yes.
mm,
93% Republicans, 42% Independents, and 32% of Democrats says this is the worst it has been. Because again, inflation is still going up. You know what's funny too? Nobody's talking about these gas prices. It's gone back up.
right,
It's 355 for regular here in North Carolina.
and it's just the end of April.
Yeah, this ain't summer, which is gonna, always summer is gonna go higher. Nobody's talking about that again. Remember, back in October stuff, they were like, "Oh, we got it down 10 cents down," and now nobody's talking about it again. Just like we talked about last basics last night show, the elephant in the room. Like I said before, if you're watching now and stuff on YouTube or Facebook, those two, Facebook had a little glitch, whatever, didn't proc, so the show's there now. And on YouTube, for anybody who does watch YouTube, there's not many views go to YouTube. I still gotta clear it out for people. And if they ever go back to watch the videos if you don't watch it live with us, you go back to watch it because that's the biggest library I have of watching the math stuff. YouTube blocked us from doing videos because they said we have a lot of straight no chasers. I'm not sure the side chat videos up to 59, and they came with the whole I incite violence thing, and it was crazy. I tried to appeal it, but they said no, I did, and I'm like, I don't know what y'all reading, but we don't know. So we're gonna be on our p's and q's in a way we talk certain way in a certain way, but last night was the show aired on YouTube, and we were talking about that. Like, it's funny that shootout that happened down in Alabama.
Right,
Nobody, that was a mass shooting.
right,
That was 4 people died, 28 people got shot.
yeah,
But the problem was everybody was black.
mm-hmm.
And where was the media other than local media? Where was the big media? Where was that? Yeah, Good Morning America did a thing, and then that's it. But
It moved on.
they moved on. But that it'll be like on it, 24/7,
Oh, yeah.
365. They didn't do that. Those were people who got senselessly killed for no reason. None. And it's sad. Also, which me and my wife we're gonna talk about, because I really want to talk about this, in this show, but maybe by its own topic by itself. We talk about the what her name is again? I forgot her name. For the North Carolina woman, I forgot, which is to say I go in a blank right now. The young girl who got killed in Mexico.
Oh, I forget her. I forget the pronunciation of her name, but ugh,
You're gonna kill yourself. You don't gonna kill
yeah,
yourself, man. But
yeah,
we'll talk. I want to talk about that too because again, remember the girl that went in Aruba when she got killed, big thing, movies, all that stuff, And here's the thing: I don't care about it. It was whatever the white girl, whatever did, what you know what I mean. The problem is though, they went up to Joe Biden. They went up to the White House. They went all the way to the top so they could get people. You have witnesses. You have evidence of a woman. This woman getting beat down.
And it's Shanquilla.
Shanquella, yes, that's what.
Robinson.
Yeah. Nobody's talking about that. The White House just say, "Yeah, FBI, don't worry about that. These black folks." These and y'all vote for the same people who don't care about y'all just because. Yeah, the misinterpretation of what's going on. So we want to talk about that video another time, but it's gonna be its own thing because I think that is sad what happened to that young lady. Yes. In my opinion, I don't like it. I do not like it.
At the hands of people who were supposed to be her friends.
And that's one of the reasons I have my phrase at the end of the show when I said, "Evil comes in all shapes, color, creed, race," and I do not care what race. Again, I said like. There's good transgender, there's bad transgenders. Everybody is we're just people. We're humans. Humans are infallible creatures, and we just do things that's not good, and we do things that's great. But the character is why, like I said, Martin Luther King says character, and that's why I want a character. Because I remember it was a time there was a college up in where was it in Seattle, up in that part. When they were saying Martin Luther King, when he was talking about and saying that he was racist because it's about race and stuff. It's not about character. I'm like, you see how they turn whatever it is, it's messed up. But let's get into the story at hand. All right. The reason we talk about this, and I hope y'all make your decisions. Again, as my wife said in the last show, that local elections matter the most. Yes. Federal makes a big national thing, but local works because they got to reach to your kids and everything now. Yeah. Your kids, your school, your money, your taxes.
Yes.
All that. Your local always is more important. Okay? And most of these are going to be local stories you will see, but I'm going to touch on the national. So, Joe Biden did a basically analysis for his re-election. The man's 80 years old. I'm sorry, he's not all there up there. Okay? He's not. I'm not making no lies. It's facts, it's truth.
There have been many signs of
dementia.
Of having some dementia. At a very early age. I mean, a very early part of his term. Yeah, it's sometimes it's almost it's cringy to watch as an American.
It is.
But
it's a reflection on us.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's a reflection on us. So what can I say? But we gotta make our setups, on place notice and everything else like that. So let's just play. This is his re-election bid. So I want to just bring it up so you can see it. Let's just watch. I'll let my wife see what. Okay.
Freedom. Personal freedom is fundamental to who we are as Americans. There's nothing more important, nothing more sacred. That's been the work of my first term, to fight for our democracy.
Really? Really?
Oh, boy.
Okay.
This shouldn't be a red or blue issue. To protect our rights, to make sure that everyone in this country is treated equally and that everyone is given a fair shot at making it. But around the country, MAGA extremists are lining up to take on those bedrock freedoms.
I gotta leave that. I gotta also quick. This is from his campaign. Only 4.8 million people watched it. There's 350 million people in this country. Again, and you telling me 88 million people voted for this man last time?
Yeah.
Social Security that you paid for your entire life while cutting taxes for the very wealthy, dictating what healthcare decisions women can make, banning books, and telling people who they can love, all while making it more difficult for you to be able to vote. When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent.
I hear that part.
That's why I'm running for re-election. Because I know America. I know we're good and decent people. I know we're still a country that believes in honesty and respect and treating each other with dignity. That we're a nation where we give hate no safe harbor. We believe that everyone is equal, that everyone should be given a fair shot to succeed in this country.
Thank you for choosing us.
Every generation of Americans has faced a moment when they have to defend democracy. Stand up for our personal freedom. Stand up for the right to vote and our civil rights. And this is our moment. So if you're with me, go to joebiden.com and sign up. Let's finish this job. I know we can. Because this is the United States of America. There's nothing, simply nothing we cannot do if we do it together.
Okay,
All
so
right.
what do you think, my dear?
My first thoughts watching this I guess is what we would call a re-election
Campaign.
announcement campaign video, is that it is a very marginalized video,
Okay.
and it highlights the VP more so than you've seen in the past, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm not surprised, given that the fact of who the VP is and her own agenda and platform that she has and how old this president is. It feels like they're really they could have pulled him out, and this could have easily been a re-election of her. In the clips and the scenes that they show,
Sorry, you just gave me shivers. But keep
I know,
going.
but when you look at it,
I know.
they marginalize a lot of people,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be very curious to see the numbers in the polls and how low they are, because there's a lot of demographic of people who are just not gonna vote for this man. I don't believe so.
Well, we'll see on that. Okay, so I'll say this. Okay, go back in here a little bit. Go on some of the videos. All right, like the numbers they use in January 6th, which we already know what it is. Abortion is health care. No, it's not, because I don't understand. I still don't get that. Because I never understand how it was like, oh, it's health care. I'll leave that alone. It's not, but that's just what it is. But I'm a libertarian. If you want to do it on your own money, that's the way I look at it.
Right.
You want an abortion, go right ahead on your
Wow.
cash, your money. That's your sin. That's your stuff that you're doing when you speak up to the man above. That's your call. I am not in that decision. I know a lot of poor people who are that. We go to a church who are passionate
Yeah.
about it, and
As a
I get that.
conservative, I would say that's against the Constitution. But yes, if yeah,
Yeah, I know. I get it. So I'm not saying things, but just in that regard. But fundamental freedoms. Let's be honest. Fundamental freedoms, but we can't go to church. Remember, November, COVID. You can't go to church.
Right.
You can't go to your family's house. Your grandma's dying. I'm gonna go to my grandma. Oh, you can't go out there or we lock you up. That's freedoms.
Mm-hmm.
This was under Biden. There wasn't freedoms? Okay. You say that. I always like to say the job will be finished. What did he have to do? People in the comment section, because I have it back up. I see that we got a good amount of people back up in the thing. We're up to 10,450 people. Shout outs to y'all at Temple FM again. Please tell me, what are we?
Well, the verbiage he really wants to use is give me a second term.
No, but he said finish the fight.
Right.
But doing what?
There's
What he did?
nothing that there is to finish.
Yes. That's the part.
If that's the case, then our last president could have easily took that same stance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Social Security, cutting Social Security. Not a Republican, nor a Democrat. None of them has ever come and say we're gonna cut. They use it as a talk. People gotta get smart with this. We listen to them. They always say, but you ask them what person said to cut it, and nobody's gonna cut Social Security. But it is bankrupt. I'm not gonna get Social Security. You're not gonna get Social Security. We're too young before the time we get. God bless you. If we get up to 65 years old, nevertheless, if they push the age up, we're not gonna get it. Most black people don't get it because they died before 65. But you pay into the system,
right?
Like he just said. But they wanted to do whatever. No Republican, Democrat said cut it out. It needs to be amended. Totally does. It needs to be amended. But if you are a teenager, a young kid, or people in your 20s, 30s, 40s, you're not gonna get Social Security, or you're gonna get the most messed up version of Social Security.
Right.
Not like your parents got or your grandparents got.
Well, when you look at the unemployment rate.
Yeah. Well, unemployment numbers is where it is. I ain't checked the U6 numbers in a long time. That's the real unemployment numbers, but we know I know last time it was not doing great.
No, it's still not.
No, it's not. No, but nobody's cutting Social Security. Okay, just not. Again, I don't think that's the health care. Sorry, I don't believe that. That's just me saying what I gotta say. That's not health care. Okay. Bans off the bodies. Oh, please. I like this part. It said this is the part I wanted to freeze off. I want to freeze.
These are books that are supposed to be banned.
Some of these books are, here's the thing. To Kill a Mockingbird, that is being banned mostly by Democrat leftists, I should say. Then Huckleberry Finn, same thing.
Right.
They're not. So that's not that. Kite Runner. I don't think children should read that. I know what Kite Runner is. I read it. It's not a children appropriate book.
Right.
It really is not.
And mind you, he's coming at books that are within the public school system. These are not books that you as the general public can't get.
Yeah.
It's books that are deemed inappropriate for a certain age bracket.
Yeah.
So that shows you the level of screwed up that this man, who's supposed to be a father and raise children, like there's a certain appropriate age to introduce things to a child in the school system.
Remember the man who was walking around? He married his. Remember. He married his brother's widow. Literally, they were still together before he passed away. Then divorced her. Now this Instagram model got cracked, got false teeth, ain't got no whatever. He's young as us, and got all that stuff. And the story is ridiculous about this.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'll tell you this. So Invisible Man. I get that. I don't know what first is to that. I do know what this one is. Lawn Boy. That is about boy on boy sexual habits. That's not. I don't think that should never be in schools. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's not. Let's not pretend this.
So I said it over-sexual. Trying to agenda to over-sexualize the children.
Yeah, I don't think that. Okay, no. Books unite us. Says the people who want these. I bet you, we say, okay, let's put Bibles in the school. They're gonna be like, oh,
exactly.
Let's put Bibles in. Oh, no, that's religion. We can't do that. The oldest book on the planet.
Right.
That
Put
we
prayer back then.
You gotta love heretics. That's why I called it that. Okay? Books unite us. Censorship divide us. Okay, put in Atlas Shroud. Put in that girl who that doctor who talked about transgender really and found out the truth behind it of all these girls cutting their breasts off, whatever. Put that book back in. Oh yeah, a lot of y'all try to censor that same book. I forgot the name of the psychologist woman. I forgot her name. Abigail Schreier. That's her name. Put her book back in. Cause remember, y'all got there with a lot of these people got into Target and trying to ban it in Target and stuff like that. And lucky for us, a lot of conservatives jumped up and said, and they made it, and Target put it back in. But I love the hypocrisy. Just funny how that is. You just
said it. The hypocrisy.
That's crazy.
Hypocrisy. That's why I said this is a very marginalized re-election video.
Yeah. We need a battle for America's soul. That's why I labeled the show what it is tonight. Because we need a backbone. We are weak right now. Not only did we do a horrible job in Afghanistan, we're doing a horrible job in Sudan. The American people who are still in Sudan can't get out. He left them there. This is happening all now. So basically, point taken, if you got a passport, you drive and S happens to a place like whatever, you're on your own. I'm telling you right now, you are on your own. He has proven twice that, yeah, we will help you. We're not going to help you when things go wrong. So let's not pretend this. I just can't. I'm just coming through some of this stuff because we know what it is. Just crazy. I love how he says I love how he said all the union, they invest in America and all the stuff. You didn't know you knocked out a lot of union jobs, including don't forget the pipeline. We're gonna save gas, whatever. You knocked that away too.
Yep.
But which would be cheaper gas and everything for us, but nope, they don't do that. But again, Ketanji Brown, I'm sorry, I don't care if you're black. If you can't define what a woman is, I can't define what you are. You say you're a woman, but when we ask the definition, what is a woman? You can't define yourself. I have a problem with a judge who can't define what a woman is. That's just me. I don't care what color you are. I'm just saying that's just me. So, yeah, all this stuff right here is whatever. So people say this. So let's see what the people in let's listen to New Yorkers about Biden's re-election bid.
This job, I know we can.
I mean, what job has he even started?
You got to start a job before you finish it.
I don't really know what job he started.
I don't think he knows what he's saying half the time.
What would be a good campaign slogan for Joe Biden?
I quit. There you go. I think I'm gonna like that.
And these are New Yorkers.
These are New Yorkers now.
That's why I said it's going to be an interesting re-election.
America look like if he does finish the job?
I see more war with China.
Maybe turn the rest of America woke?
Probably going to get our hands in Ukraine.
In his campaign video, Joe Biden shows a stack of books that he says have been banned by, quote,
MAGA extremists. Banning books.
One of those books is called Lawn Boy, and in that book, it describes a scenario of two 10-year-old boys giving each other oral sex. You're calling people extremists who just don't want children to have access to books like that?
What they're actually doing is grooming people.
What do you think America looks like if he finishes the job?
America doesn't look good.
In New York.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean,
but here's the thing, y'all talk it. When you get in that booth, you better press that button or write it down for what it is. Stop playing.
Put that pen to paper.
Yep. That's what it is. So let's go. Let's go this. And then I remember I want to put this up here to go because we got stuff to go in here. Where is it? Yeah. So I want to do this quickly. Trump and Bernie Sanders back in 2016. I was close to say I'm cool with Bernie Sanders because he would call out Hillary Clinton, one of those stuff. And another fact that's going to happen right now, Joe Biden said he's not debating nobody in the Democrat side, and so it's also there's nobody that's close enough for Trump and stuff. So we're gonna have two people, one and again, that never go through a debate. I don't like that as a libertarian. Okay, that's just me. I rather you stand up there, you defend your
I
thing.
see.
And we know Trump can,
Yeah,
Biden can't.
Biden, I don't see him physically.
No, cause he gonna do the usual. You know, like I'm gonna talk about what are we saying again? Like, he'll do that. That's what he's gonna do. So Bernie Sanders, even though I know a lot of his stuff was gonna be bad, when foot comes to pavement, Bernie Sanders shows his colors, and he literally betrayed everybody. He did. I was more cool with Bernie Sanders back in 2016.
Right.
Like, I was like, okay, you know what? You called out Hillary Clinton. There's times you could have said she did some stuff, but he didn't do it. And you said these people are bad. Okay, now just to get back cozy back with the people,
get back in the graces of the Democratic Party.
Yeah. So here's it now.
This week, the current president launched one of the least inspiring Democratic campaigns of all time. He released a carefully crafted video which promised literally nothing in the way of an affirmative agenda with the tagline, "Finish the job." Left unsaid was what job he planned to finish, since there has been nothing in the way of tangible goals or plans since the implosion of Build Back Better. Biden then had the gall to go speak to some unions, presumably trying to put on his pro-labor president shtick, even as his unconscionable actions backing rail bosses over workers has already put to bed any notion that he would ever really stand with workers. Yet in spite of all of the disappointments and broken promises of the first Biden term, within hours of his announcement, Biden's chief rival, the independent senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders, has endorsed his bid.
Within hours. He wasn't even like, no, hours.
Right.
That's how
and
far.
That shows you how much he sold out. You couldn't even just sit on it for a little while.
No, Bernie sold out big time.
It's a final betrayal of the movement that Bernie himself created, thoroughly capitulating to Biden and the worldview that he represents. Depressingly, given Bernie's trajectory post-2020, this was not really surprising. Bernie told the AP, quote, "The last thing this country needs is a Donald Trump or some other right-wing demagogue who's going to try to undermine American democracy or take away a woman's right to choose or not address the crisis of gun violence or racism, sexism, or homophobia. So I'm in to do what I can to make sure that the president is reelected." Bernie didn't even make a single demand, didn't force a single concession, at least not that we know of. No demand for debates or renewed commitment to a living wage, union legislation, anything.
Nothing.
Bernie instantly bent the knee, and he did it in exchange for less than nothing.
Oh, he ain't bent the knee. No, he bent over. He literally bent over and said, all right, Biden. And basically, not Biden, because again, Biden ain't running nothing. All right, Democrat Party, here you go.
Kamala.
It actually
we're going to talk about
when
that.
asked about other primary challenges to
soon.
Biden, Bernie actively discouraged others from entering, suggesting that this was the wrong focus for progressives, and echoing the media's framing that we should all just accept a coronation of Joe Biden. Bernie said of potential challengers, quote, "People will do what they want to do. I think Joe Biden will be the Democratic nominee, and my job, and I think the progressive movement's job, is to make certain that he stands up and fights for the working class of the country and does not take anything for granted." And with that, my friends, you can see with undeniable clarity that the bastards really got him. What do I mean? Well, back in 2016, Bernie's central and most provocative insight was that the only way to fight an authoritarian demagogue like Trump was through expanding democracy, enlisting and energizing new voters, showing that a multiracial, working-class-centric democracy could deliver on the material needs of its citizens.
I disagree on centrally control, because that's never worked. It's never ever worked in the history of mankind. But I digress.
In other words, it was...
And that's the only part of Bernie that didn't make me go towards him.
Yeah.
Centrally controlled, that centrally controlled government, or that tells you what to do, anytime you want, that never had worked in history, unless, and the only time he has worked, and here's the sad part of it, the only time he has worked is when you give up your rights.
Yeah.
Thoroughly populist pitch, which trusted in the voters of America, believed they could be persuaded, and that only more democracy could really right the ship. Here he is making that case.
You cannot beat Trump with the same old kind of politics.
No, you get Hollywood to as I did my video, to do stuff, and I could say a lot more stuff, but because of we just came out of a strike, I'm gonna keep it clean.
But
I did a video about it.
Is a new politics that brings working class people into our political movement, which brings young people into our political movement, and which in November will create the highest voter turnout in American political history.
This view of politics was actually, and still is, deeply controversial at a time when cable news is trying to convince you every single day that your fellow citizens represent an existential threat. Bernie argued that we should go further than ever to put our faith in them, to appeal to them, to bring them into the process. Bernie's policies from Medicare for All to free college were, of course, different from his opponents as well. But the most vital difference between him and almost everyone else was his belief in populism. This, for example, is what really separated him from Elizabeth Warren. Bernie believed in the movement. Warren believed in the insider game, populism versus elitism. Now, the counter-narrative to this populist approach was argued by Hillary, Biden, and all the rest. They argued that the threat from the right was too dire to leave up to untrustworthy, deplorable voters. They argued, in essence, don't worry your pretty little heads about your policy desires or candidate preferences, because the serious people will tell you who you absolutely must vote for in order to fight fascism. Sadly, that counter-narrative has been very successful. They convinced much of the Democratic base that their fellow Americans were terrifying, racist, and generally evil. They used this belief to justify an anything-goes politics that included rigging the 2016 primaries.
I'll let she can say it because you know what I gotta say, but I'll let she say it because we know. That's why I said I wanted to not, let me not say what I gotta say, but
politics that included rigging the 2016 primaries, rigging the Iowa caucuses in 2020, and the Obama-Clyburn media collusion that foisted Biden on voters in 2020 as well, smearing anyone who dissented from this as a fascist or a useful idiot or a grifter or some other terrible thing.
So it makes me wonder, what is the next election going to look like?
Oh, it's gonna be a S-storm. It's the same two people gonna basically most likely gonna be the one fighting against each other. We know that. And if that's the case, that like
should we volunteer to help run the polls?
Nah, oh heck no. Oh no. No, I'm not.
Running this playbook again.
I'll
Biden's
volunteer
message to the
for
majority
tribute.
of Democratic voters who don't want him, and the overwhelming majority of all voters who don't want him, is you have no choice. You have no choice in the primary because, according to the elites in Washington, no, quote, serious opponents are running. And even if there was an elite certified serious choice, the Democratic Party has already rigged the primaries and killed all debates to try to guarantee a Biden coronation. Similarly, you have no choice in the general election because, just like in 2020, Biden may not get your pulse racing and may barely have a pulse himself, but at least he's not Trump. This worldview is an all-out assault on democracy. The theory is basically only liberal authoritarianism can defeat right-wing authoritarianism. It is as stupid an idea as it is completely poisonous. And now it has the world's foremost former left populist standing behind it. Bernie joining the ranks of the anti-democracy elitists is nothing short of a tragedy. I'll personally always be grateful to Bernie for the movement he launched, the way it transformed politics, for the way it personally expanded my political imagination and fully shook me out of my partisan prism. There is simply no denying, however, that his defection to the other side of this debate has done massive damage to that very movement. Many have become disillusioned. They've given up on the idea that electoral politics can even be a venue for real change. Others have followed Bernie into being co-opted by the establishment elitist wing of the party. The number of supposed leftists I see fully supporting the DNC's decision to hold no debates and doing the work of smearing any and all potential primary challengers to Biden is extremely depressing. But all hope is not lost. As I reported on Tuesday, younger generations, they're not really fooled by these lies, and they're much less likely to be cowed into believing the arguments of a political class that has done nothing but betray them for their entire lives. Now, Bernie's endorsement of Biden comes at kind of an ironic moment here, too. He's just finishing up a media tour promoting his book, It's Okay to Be Angry About Capitalism. It's filled with critique of the Biden wing of the party and out.
Now, I love that because, again, he said in a book, that's the only way he has made millions of dollars by doing capitalism. Funny how that works, ain't it?
Funny how that works.
Lines Bernie's long-standing concerns about inequality in an economic system that is at this point less capitalist than it is outright psychopathic. I don't doubt that Bernie is still extremely genuine in his belief in universal health care, canceling student debt, fighting the climate crisis, etc. But his full capitulation to the elitist insiders means that these core policy commitments, they only really matter on the margins. I guess in Bernie's new worldview, it's okay to be angry about capitalism. You just can't actually do anything about it. And Sagar, listen, am I surprised? No.
I mean,
I'm not.
No.
I'm not surprised in 2020 when he went trying. I was like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. Whatever. So before we go that, I got a next thing to go. So if Biden wins by luck, and I said luck because we know the media is gonna spin it. We know the news media is gonna spin it. We know Hollywood is gonna kick in there, go say what they're gonna say.
I mean, when Trump won, it was the whole explanation behind that was, oh, the silent majority came out to vote. If he wins this time, what is it gonna be? My stance is this is my phrase I'm gonna use.
Okay.
The closet conservatives came out to vote, aka the minorities who didn't who didn't drink the Kool-Aid. I mean, that's just how I feel.
Okay. No.
Because I've talked to a good amount of my peers who did vote for Biden his first election, and they said they won't do it again. They feel very regretful that they did.
Well, but here's the thing about it, and this is the ultimate truth. Nobody knows what happened when you win that booth.
Yeah.
You can say all you want, talk all your mess. You get in that booth, you could say that, and that happened. Me, I pick what I pick, and I know what I did.
I think the responses came off of the going back to the voting culturally, and then realizing that, wait a minute, I've got a future. I've got a business, because a lot of our, friends there they're business owners, and they're in different income brackets, and they're raising families. They're not 18, 19, 20 years old anymore. You see things from a different worldview perspective, and when you see that there's just so much that's just been mismanaged at our consequence, it's like, yeah, why do I have to feel obligated to vote for this particular party? What have you done for me lately?
Well, here's the thing. This is why I say this. The only reason I think you gonna have all those people. I did 2 shows about this. How the media, all the people, all the forces that was going against Trump, like I called every one of them out and everything. And I also point out this. They're gonna do that because like now I'm gonna say something, and you can see she's a black woman. I married a black woman, okay? Not one who tends to be a woman, a black woman with all the features.
All the features.
I'm just saying, because there was a woman who ran. There was a man. Remember, you listened to it. The man who ran the marathon.
Oh yes.
And he beat 14,000 women in record time. That's unfair to me.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. And he was 54 years old, and he beat women young. That's why nature is nature. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not playing this. That's why right now most places
literally his quadriceps are double the size of probably the average woman who's on there. Just from his molecular structure. It's not,
Yep. So, but this is what I will say, that Biden, because a lot of black women, sadly, and I'm saying this to you, and saying this to anybody, y'all gonna vote for Kamala Harris.
Oh,
this is, you brought up a little earlier. That's gonna be the hump to get him over. If something, if nothing happened,
for sure.
If nothing happened Hinckley with the vote machines this time,
for sure. It's like I said when we ran that re-election video. For me, I would love to go back and compare. Well, I don't know if they've even done other re-election videos, but you just to see it was odd to see that much presence from the VP, throughout the entire video. Maybe at the end, that you see them walking together or whatever. I certainly don't remember seeing his presence that much when he was Obama's VP.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, they're gonna use her as that image bearer of getting minority women votes, because that is a thing too of why he's there, because she's this woman of color, and you just see that.
Even though when she got into the Senate, she said she's the first American Indian.
Right.
She didn't say first black female. She said first American.
Well, one thing she did is she rode the coattails of her sorority group. I forgot which one it was she pledged with. And that's a big...
And also, she went horizontal to go vertical.
Yes, that's been said.
Mr. Brown in California knows that.
Not very good.
But it's true. But anyway.
And not very positive of example.
Because here's the thing. Not many times. The closest time in our pronounced history is basically Dick Cheney. Is the only person as a vice president that had that much pull. Right. And this is the first time. I do not think Joe Biden has 6 more years.
No, I don't.
And I don't mean like he's gonna die. I'm thinking his mental
to run a country.
He's gonna go.
No.
And he ain't running the country now anyway.
Right.
He's not. I'm just being straight up honest with people. Kamala Harris has a better chance to become president than Trump. Just because she's running that way, because people will vote because they know it is. But I want you to listen. I've said it before. I've played clips of Kamala Harris, and I'm gonna say now. Before I get into this clip, I'll say this again. The reason and I'm being straight up honest with anybody. The reason I cannot vote for Kamala Harris, and I use there's videos in the past. There's a video in the past that has that, and I wish you could find a clip, and I hope I really can find a clip. My friend, husband, I said before, because she let the criminal out multiple times, and the criminal did many horrible things until he killed my friend's husband and 2 kids. I'm not down with that. Okay, right. That's a no vote for me. Point blank. That's a personal. It's like Kamala Harris came in my house and did that. So that's a personal issue to me. So I'm not voting for.
And that's a fact. That is something that you stand on. It's not a cultural pull.
No.
Or even economic. That's a fact of her bad administrative policies.
Yeah. So for me, that's one. So I am an honest person to people out there. That's it. But the second point is, there's a third point I'm going to show you, but there's a second point too. The second point is, she has a horrible poker face. She always laughs when she lies. I don't know why y'all. It's so. I'm like, what is the laugh about, you crazy lady? Whenever somebody try to put her in a corner, she uncomfortably lies. Just like when Joe Biden, when he lies, he do that stupid smirk. I hate it. Every time they're trying to get your guns.
Oh boy.
He always does that. He always does that. But anyway, this is why, and the third thing why I think this is gonna be horrible. Listen to this. This is right after that video, the speech that Kamala Harris did for the Joe Biden re-election.
So I think it's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past but the future.
What does that mean?
Nothing. It means nothing.
Where did she come up with this? Like, where is this coming
intoxicated.
from? Is it a speechwriter? You know, like, what's happening inside your brain?
Do you think that was actually even written? She might have went off script.
No, but she's done that multiple times. The thing about NASA, when they said NASA, she did that same thing with NASA.
That sounds like a speech from someone who is trying their best to convince you that they did not have a hangover or were not drunk.
Officer, I am not drunk. I am just had a little bit of drinking, but I didn't drink enough to be over the like. That's how she sounds,
right?
And that's who you all want as your president, and they will do that. And I'll tell you this too, black folks. I'm being honest, and me and my wife talked about this. I'm just being honest again. Let's go full screen on us right now. I want you to understand this. If Kamala Biden win, and then Kamala becomes president of America, I'm gonna say this right now. Them crazy white folks on the left, they will tell you, they will say, oh, well, you had your black president, you had your black female president, now we need a transgender, the gay. Now, you already had your turn, even though there might be a good Democrat, a black woman or man that really be good, that I might vote for. They're gonna say, you already had that. That's your turn. Your turn is done. It's basically a carousel. Your turn's already done. Move out. We don't care no more. Let's bring in a new, fresh and funky now.
What it is people are willing to prop up someone to just represents a group of people more so than someone who's just competent to do the job. And that's what we are faced with. I had a talk with a girlfriend of mine, and I was talking about the issues that people had with Trump. And I'm not saying that there weren't some valid issues there, but one thing, especially for Christians, we have to be mindful. Are we going to vote for a president or a pastor? You know, this person is there to lead the country. He's not there to lead you to your faith.
True.
Or to be your icon that you put on the wall. You know, people want a president now that they can aspire to. I want someone who's going to lead the country competently. There's a lot of people you can aspire to. You can aspire to doctors and lawyers and athletes even. That president doesn't have to be someone that I have on my wall that looks like me. If they're not competent to do the job, then please, let's go with someone who's competent to do the job. And I think that's one of the biggest flaws now that we see in America. And even in that, it wanting this person to be a representation, like you just said, that's not enough. They're not going to just stop there. Then it's going to move on to the next thing, and then the next thing. As we see within the LGBTQA plus rights now.
Mm-hmm.
So, for sure.
I get it.
It's going to be an interesting,
interesting
election.
Yep. Bernie has hurt me too much. I'm not whatever. I gave up Bernie Sanders a long time ago. He's consistently, predictably, always over. He rolls over the establishment. Yep, so that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. Bernie Sanders' endowment of Biden is hugely ridiculous and disappointing. It's not a betrayal. It's pretty much his thing now. I hope no one is expecting more. No, you're all correct. We were allowed to say 2006 per now is now okay, yeah. Now we're allowed to say there was rigged. Yes. It's funny now, ain't it? Now they say we've rigged. Yeah. That's the comments going on right now. In that, I'll give it up to that. And it's crazy. Trusting Bernie is like calling Joe Biden the most popular president in American history. Jeez, okay, people. All right.
That's true.
But okay, so
we did have a whole "Let's Go Brandon" movement.
Yeah.
So
Let's go, Brandon. It's true. Let's go, Brandon.
So they tried to turn that into something that we knew was like really.
But let me say things happen now, and then we're gonna go to the part, and then we'll call it a night. So this right here, I want to bring up. So this is what happened. See, I let people know what's going on in your Congress, in your stuff right now, like right now. So this is a vote. The Republicans passed a bill to ban transgender athletes from women's and girls' sports.
Record their votes by electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.
So they'll bring it up and show you. But this is going on in a vote to ban. Again, I do not like that it has to be a law.
Right.
I think it's simple sense. It should be simple sense. All right? I'm sorry. The same guy we talked about, the same guy I just talked about saying when he won the thing in the London Marathon, he ran the year before in New York as a men marathon. Did he pace first, second, third, fourth, top 10, top 20, top 30, top 40. He's down in the 100th. But he beat the record and beat the women, 14,000 women.
Yeah. I mean, you can't argue against the fact that scientifically this is just unfair.
It is.
That's put aside what your views are. Like you said, if that's what somebody wants to do as an adult and go through changing their sex, then that's your business.
Mm-hmm.
But to put yourself with the muscle tissue and the molecular structure that you have, and try to put yourself in a category of people who don't have that, and won't seem as that's fair. It's not fair. It's not fair at all, and no one's buying that.
Exactly. And the funny part about it, like I said again, which is just funny in that regard. Don't you think, hey guys, don't you think it would be cooler if you transition and you beat up, and if you're a boxer or whatever, you beat somebody that is a man and you transition to a woman?
Right.
That'll be a bigger story. Because you ain't fighting no women going into the men. They ain't dominating doing anything.
The reality is, even if, I can't get in the mind of someone who's trans. That's their walk.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, if you're an athlete and you're performing at that level, and you go through transitioning, that means as an athlete you've been in that sport for years and years as the sex that you were born as, so your performance level compared to other people of that gender.
Yeah.
So to go and, like you just said, and participate in a gender of people that you identify with but you were not born as, and want to play fair. There's nothing fair at all about that. Nothing fair at all about that. That makes me question your motives out the gate. Like, okay, are you really in it for the heart of it, or are you just here just to win at whatever cost, whether it's fair or not?
Huh?
2 minutes remaining in the vote. 2 minutes remaining in the vote.
It's sad that it even came that close.
Okay. And now, see on your screen. See on your screen. Funny how that is. Look at that screen. Now, one Democrat went over. Now, one Democrat said, you know what? Yeah, it's crazy. And again, I think this is simple sense. So I'm not going to knock the Republicans on that. But as you can see, there's no independent. No independent.
None.
Okay?
House divided.
Yes. Not one say, yes, it's unfair that these guys are going over and taking, these are the ones say, like Joe Biden just said, we're fighting for everybody equal rights and stuff. So a man went over, he couldn't cut it to get scholarship in his being a man. He went over to be a female to get his scholarship. That's unfair.
It's unfair.
I don't care what
whatever
anybody
way
says.
you slice that pie, there is science. There is every bit of science that backs up the fact that there is no comparison to this to your skeletal system, your muscular system.
Oh.
Everything is different.
You know what? I know there's just like we talked about Sean Crella Robinson video that we might do by itself, but his own thing. There's another video that we talk about this and we might do by itself because it's just so good talking about all that. I think you and us it's a proving point or whatever. It's from Sleep Don't Think. Sleep Before You Think, and it's a really good video and it proves the point more better. Yeah. But again, it's not saying that women don't have their own initial talents.
Yeah,
they do. God make us as helper mates.
We're made differently.
Yeah,
not better or worse. We're just made differently.
Yeah,
you just try to jump into a whole other gender pool because that's how you identify yourself. Performance wise, that doesn't just line up.
Nope. So there you go. 219 to 203. 3 didn't vote, 10 didn't vote for the Democrats. So you're telling me the 10 that didn't vote, you couldn't say, because of what? Y'all are scared. I want to say the word, but I don't want to say that either. You could have said, you could have put in there, you believe it. You just didn't want to get tagged with it.
Right.
That's why you did a no vote. That's why you didn't get a no vote.
On this vote, the yeas are 219, the nays are 203. The bill is passed. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
There you go. That's one. Here's another one. Kentucky. This is what they do.
And tonight here at 11 o'clock, it is the new law in Kentucky, and it is making national headlines. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt. Kentucky lawmakers passing one of the strictest anti-trans bills in the country today, impacting transgender minors from banning access to gender-affirming health care to restricting the bathrooms they can use. WHS.
And the only reason I don't like it to be a law, but the reason you use is because of what happened in Virginia.
Yes.
And it happened in other places too, but Virginia is the best one.
And that does not get the coverage that it should too.
It got coverage when it needed back when the election was happening. But it's died down because the Republicans won that one handily and whatever. But remember, we talked about this, and you was on the show with me that time when that boy, I'm sorry, the biological boy, I'm gonna use that because that's a term a lot of people start using now. The biological boy went and anally sodomized 2 girls in 2 different schools. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Because of certain things I want to say, Cam, because we just came off of that little band.
Yeah.
But that is not fair.
Right.
I don't care what anybody say.
And
all
that's
right?
why you
That's a
have
despicable
this.
person.
Right.
And it bad enough the first time happened. The second time. That's the teachers, that one. I'm sorry. That's your teachers. That's your principal. That's your district and the school board.
School board. Exactly.
Playing around with people's lives like that. I don't like that. Teach the kids. That's it. That's all you need. That's all I want you to do.
Night team's Connor Steffen.
Because I forgot. I forgot. I listened to this podcast today. It's funny because we're talking about this. We're talking about now the facts are coming out of COVID, all this stuff. They come out and they say that COVID really, we should have never locked down. We should have never did this. Europe didn't lock down. That's why, whatever. And the kids, funny enough, you know what's funny? Kids that was in red states, schools in red states, majority of schools in red states stayed open. Schools in blue states didn't stay open, except for private schools, which were, of course, who got their kids in private school? The same politicians who say shut everything down. The same teachers unions who say shut everything down. But your public school, shut it down.
Right.
And that's why these kids or whatever. Just saying that.
Yeah. A lot of them will suffer.
Philip Merle and Ian Hardwitt have all sides with new comments tonight.
The fight over a new Kentucky law, one of the strictest in the nation.
Keep marching, keep fighting.
From Kentucky's youngest and loudest. Trading in the classroom for the Capitol.
I know it wasn't easy to get here, so I just want you to hear me say thank you.
I just wanted to come out to be just like an ally and a representative of what actually Kentucky means and what Kentucky represents.
This was the site outside the Capitol Annex, several hundred protesting Kentucky's sweeping anti-trans legislation.
It is our duty to win!
But feet away inside the Capitol Rotunda.
Today we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to finish the job that began months ago.
Dozens of bill supporters were on their feet for GOP lawmakers as they reaffirmed their hopes and shared gratitude.
For the prayers to stand for parents and to stand for children, that we will protect them in the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Its fate ultimately fell into the hands of Kentucky's Republican supermajority. It easily collected enough votes in both chambers to override the governor's veto, but not before this. Protesters uniting arms in the House gallery above before KSP removed them. 19 people were arrested and cited for criminal trespassing. Senator Karen Berg of Louisville was one of 8 no votes in the Senate. She had this message to share with Kentucky's queer youth.
Do not hurt yourself, and God forbid you not go out and hurt somebody else over this.
And I agree with her on that. Even though I don't agree with what she thinks, I agree with her on that. Don't go and hurt nobody else because of this. And don't go and hurt yourself.
And sadly, I'm not trying to dumb down the youth because children have very bright, creative, intelligent minds. But one of the reasons why I am in support of this ban is because a child's mind is going through such a vital and just pivotal developmental stage in that age bracket, and half of those kids that are hollering and yelling and protest don't even know what they're protesting for.
No, they don't.
They're protesting for a trend. You know, out of 10 of those kids, out of 20 of those kids, it might be one who feels that they psychologically identify as another gender.
And I think, and again, I have no problem for them seeking mental health care and all that stuff. Go ahead. That's not. I'm not stopping it from that. But to have in your prime of where your hormones is trying to figure out everything, to add something else to mess up your hormones, that's
not safe. It's not healthy.
Safe. And it's shown. They've been shown many times doing that causes cancer.
Yes.
That also to see young girls cut off healthy breasts, and then later on they regret it. And most of the deaths of a lot of transgender, and people say, "Oh, a lot of transgender people died." It's not because other people beat them up; it's because they killed themselves. Which is sadness.
The psychological warfare you bring in from the medications and the hormone imbalance that you go through.
Yeah.
Reporters say the new law empowers parents and protects children.
Protect our rights to know what is happening to our students in public schools and protect our sons and daughters in their most vulnerable spaces.
Critics, though, say lawmakers' actions will have deadly consequences.
No, it won't.
That's one of the reasons I do this, is because all of this hate is coming from people that don't know a transgender person.
I know transgender people, and they're just living their life all right. You are crazy.
It's different for some lawmakers in Frankfurt, fueling others to continue the fight in the courts. Connor Steffen for the WHS 11 Night Team on your side.
Thinking about going
Well done, Kentucky, for not rolling over.
No, don't roll over. Don't roll over. Don't roll over. So, before we go, I gotta play this. I wanted to. You want to talk about the job that you gotta finish, right? The job that you gotta finish.
So is this? My thing is, with the re-election coming up and him passing such a poopy bill. How is he going to spend this?
Oh, he should go spend this because a lot of people don't they're not paying attention.
You're right. I was just about to say, because if you're opening your eyes and paying attention to this bill, how on any level do you see this as a positive move by our wonderful president to punish people of a higher credit score by picking up literally the tab for someone who has a lower credit score? Like,
unfair. Straight up unfair.
Would you say that's a socialist move?
Yeah.
It
is. No, it is.
Maybe him and Bernie sat down and said, "Hey, how can we screw up America more?"
Yes. Yep. You're correct on that. You're correct on that.
It's pretty sad. When I first read that, I'm like, "Is this for real?"
It is.
And I mean, it was on the news. They were, well, not that everything on the news is real, but yes, it was being covered live.
What are you looking at?
So let me get this up so you guys can see what she's talking about. Okay, this is the I've said it before when Biden was like, "Oh, so many black people can't get houses and whatever." Most black people live in cities. Cities are basically townhouses. You will basically have what? Apartments and townhouses. So by definition, you're not gonna get it like that. One and two. I don't know. But he said if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. So I'm cool. I'm a happy Caucasian. And you're a happy Caucasian because you got a house.
Right.
You had a house.
Yeah.
So how are you doing, my white sister?
Transracial. We've transitioned to another race.
So
Oh Lord! Shout out to Rachel Dolezal, by the way.
yeah.
We owe her an apology.
Yeah.
They got on
basically.
her for wanting to be another race. Hey, go for it.
Okay, so let's look at this and let's listen to this, and we go dive in a little deeper before we go something else, and then we'll finish. But yeah, let's listen to this.
At 10 a.m. Eastern this morning, prices are expected to come down 1.7%. Mortgage rates spiking up to 6.43% yesterday as the Biden administration is planning to force homebuyers with good credit to pay more for their mortgages so that they can subsidize the loans of high-risk borrowers. Experts reportedly estimating that good credit buyers could pay about $40 additional a month on a $400,000 mortgage. The rule is set to go into effect on May 1st. Bob, it's subsidizing those homeowners who probably shouldn't have the mortgage in the first place.
Home buyers with riskier credit scores, better mortgage rates, and lower fees than those with good credit history. David Stevens served as commissioner of the Federal Housing Administration under President Obama.
Okay, this is our Obama person talking, not no Republican or right wing, whatever. Listen to a Democrat person say.
You were tapped to hold that role in 2009, I might add, David, and at a critical time in American history when we were going through a mortgage and banking crisis. You went on to head up the mortgage bankers.
And the banking crisis is going on right now. So at that point, as we've been repeated, a lot of banks are falling and defaulting on their stuff because they're doing crappy loans.
Yeah. Association, you're woefully qualified to weigh in on this. What is your reaction to the president's plan?
Well, look, to be fair, it's not necessarily the president's plan, but
that's true because he don't know what the hell he's talking about.
It is the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, the FHFA, who regulates Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Director Thompson was put into that job, appointed by President Biden and confirmed by the Senate. But you know, this is an unprecedented move. The GSEs, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, which are still quasi-private companies, they're in conservatorship because they fell into financial troubles during the Great Recession in 2008. But they have always risk-based priced their loans. So in other words, people with better credit scores and bigger down payments get lower rates than people with really low credit scores and very low down payments.
That makes a lot of sense.
And that would be like right.
That is what I call simple sense.
Perfectly said, husband.
And that risk-based pricing has been part of the discipline of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac since their beginning. Well, for the first time ever, the director, in an effort to, I think, bring more first-time home buyers, particularly minority home buyers, into the GSEs, lending programs, made a shift where she lowered the fees being charged to borrowers with low down payments and low credit scores. And the way she compensated, or they compensated for that loss of income, that capital costs that they're going to incur, is they're actually raising fees on better credit-worthy borrowers who are putting down much larger down payments. It really has never been done before.
You heard what the man says. It's never been done before.
Oh, no.
We already got the banks right now.
Breaking new ground.
We already don't got the banks doing stupid stuff already.
Yeah.
And now, this is happening now.
I mean, you just look at the morality blow of something like that. Like, I'm not saying that you know, credit reports are not without their flaw, but that is like like you said, that's simple sense. They're like a common just platform, a game plan. I pay things on time. I live within my means, and therefore my credit score reflects that.
Yes.
And now they're just flipping it upside down.
To get more black people in this. Okay, let's look at this. And I'm just saying it. Your mama, your dad are black. Even though your dad cracks his jokes, of course. But your mama and your dad are black. Your aunt, she's black. Her husband is black. They got a house. Your sister's back. She got a house. You got a house. My cousin, they're down the road from us. They got a house. Yep. Her father and mother, they got a house. My aunt, when she was up here, living up here, she had a house. We got a house. I got a house. But, you know, not enough black people who got in this stuff. So you're going to do this.
It's really supporting the agenda that people have, that it's supporting the idea of systemic racism in the housing market.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're repeatedly saying it's targeted towards minorities. And there's not to say that there's not minorities who fall lower on the scale who have homes, but to achieve that home is not for one group of people. The game plan is there for everyone. And like you said so beautifully, you have to look at the geographics of where people live.
Yeah.
I live in a rural area. Our families live in a rural area. And then too, you have to look at, and for anyone, not just our minorities, are you living within your means? Mm-hmm. Are you spending 3/4 of your check on things that are rented out? Or because there's some people who literally rent and lease out everything. They don't put value in ownership. Yeah. They don't put value in making payments on time so that their credit can be of a certain health where they can get finance for something that they can own and pay off. Yeah. So this is a big morality blow, and I'm very, like you said, some people are just not even going to pay attention to it. I sent it out to a few of my close relatives, and they really didn't even pay it any mind. And I'm gonna really curious to see how it's gonna be played out in the election. If the Republicans, and we've got, you know who that's really going toe to toe with him. I feel like he's got a loud microphone. He's gonna shout it pretty loudly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But again, this part was killing me. So you see, you know my score. You gonna tell me you see my score, you're not gonna lend the money to me? Even though, point taken, and she knows this too, even though I had to jump through some crazy ass hoops in the last couple of months for some stuff, which was
I'm still not convinced that it's in all maybe I sound like a conspiracy theorist. That might have all been in cahoots with what we see.
Listen what you gotta say.
But I think in many ways it's an attempt to compete with the FHA program, which is a governmentally run federal agency that really provides a mission to bring more opportunity for home ownership. But this is really convoluting the entire discipline and credit risk pricing structure that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have followed since their inception.
I really appreciate you sort of giving us that possible rationale, but behind what is, as you just said, an unprecedented move in this country. We just have historically not seen this before. You've always been incentivized to have better credit and pay your bills on time because you will be rewarded with lower costs and lower fees to get into a home. Yeah. David, obviously the peril in this is that you're incentivizing bad credit scores to get lower costs. Well, so there's only so long this could last. You won't be able to pay for the risky home buyers if people are incentivized to have lower credit.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I literally just got an email from an executive with a mortgage lending company. He goes, so I guess we have to teach borrowers to worsen their credit before they apply for a mortgage in order to get the better price. I mean, that's a bit of an extreme, but yes.
And I mean, you talk about, that's why I said I am so curious to see how this is going to play out.
Yep, this is going to play out. Here's a little more different.
Something that I always try and do on the show is understand where people are coming from, even if I disagree. Actually, even more so when I do disagree, because otherwise things just devolve into something unhelpful. And I will admit that's certainly harder when it comes to certain topics, but I do my best, and that's why I really want to delve into a topic that I have been spending a lot of time on recently: the rise of affirmative action America. Now, on its face, affirmative action America is built on an idea I do agree with. Our institutions are unfair, corrupt, and they do penalize the poorest amongst us, who are made up of poor whites, poor blacks, poor Latinos, and many others. We should fix that. Right now, American society is probably more nepotistic and oligarchic than at any point in our history since the Gilded Age. But how we fix that is the big disagreement. It comes back to the concepts that I brought up here earlier. Do you strive for equality of opportunity or equality of outcome? Equality of opportunity is the goal in which everyone starts off from the same place, and then when they end up in different ends of the income or societal spectrum, you can at least have relative faith they deserve, quote unquote, to be there, with the caveat that nobody ends up destitute. Equality of outcome effectively means that a person's outcome is predetermined by quotas and other normalizing efforts to make sure that all races, all creeds come to the same place regardless of disparities in effort.
That will never happen. It will never happen on this planet unless there's two people on this planet or something like that.
Right.
It never happens.
There's too many variables at play.
Thank you. That's that. And another thing that I have said before, and I hope that points out, we're going to talk about this not tonight, but other future shows, is when you look at stuff and you're like, see, like for blacks, just since we're blacks, we talk about that. Since the 60s, we have not grown. We have not grown. We have been 14, we've barely passed 15% population rate. Never passed that. That's a major problem.
That is a major problem.
Hispanics passing. Asians, who was low, like 2, 3, 4% back then, they're knocking on 10% right now, and they're going to surpass blacks.
Right.
Because what are blacks doing? And like again, there's a lot of black people out there who are doing the right thing, who are marrying, who have kids, who are beating their kids' life, whatever. But sadly enough, the statistical numbers points out, and these are statistical facts. Again, 75% of women, black women, are basically having children without fathers. That's not good. That is not good. And I heard I listened to a podcast today talking about, it's not black fathers, we're just talking fathers in general, what fathers do in children's lives, and why if the fathers are not there, why a lot of boys imitate their moms. Interesting. It's crazy, maybe again one of those things, but you see how they do stuff. You would never get that. There's been wrongs that's been done to me and my family, and some have been righted, some will never be righted. Is it like you guys thought we just talked about with the whole my Kamala Harris thing, like with my friend? I'm sorry, I can't vote for a person who does that. I couldn't. Not in my good conscience, I couldn't do that. That affects whatever. I also don't like I said, I am an immigrant. I came over here and became a citizen legally. But when I said, I know not all illegals are bad people. I know that. They try to get over to a country and try to do stuff. But when people come over here and do crime and they don't get punished and punished, whatever. Like my cousin,
the consequences.
Yeah. Again, that was illegal who killed my friend's husband and 2 kids. It was illegal who killed my cousin. Yeah. I'm sorry. I think we should know who you are, what you is, whatever. Because again, we vet people to come into our house and know what's going on, whatever. That's just what it is. But this point right here, what Cycle's gonna bring up, I don't never understand this. When people always think we can get to a point where everybody could have the same thing. That's a mathematical, statistical improbability. We're not, unless it's a smaller few people. Okay, but 350 million people? Yeah. No. Yeah. No. And this rule
Now, unfortunately, the left establishment in this country has made their choice post-2020. They're going for equality of outcome, otherwise known as equity, a key pillar of the so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion religion founded in affirmative action. I've already discussed here the San Francisco Algebra for None experiment, how it penalized Black and Hispanic students while also penalizing high-achieving Asian and white students. It is likely the future of American higher education. And at the very least, though, that was a local story. The one today, though, is worse because it actually affects the entire country. And it, too, is rooted in an equality of outcome mandate by the Biden administration. This was bombshell news. It actually came in the form of a very small notice press release from the Federal Housing Finance Agency.
That's why I say when
regulates
people not see
Fannie
it,
Freddie Mac, and the Federal Home Loan Banks. Its agency created after 2008 to ensure another financial collapse doesn't happen. But like all institutions now, they've departed their original mission and are now focused on, quote, equity in housing. The new rule actually does sound nice. The press release says it aims to increase housing ownership amongst minorities, but it takes a little bit of reading some complicated spreadsheets that they released to get to the truth. The way that they want to increase home ownership amongst minorities is by targeting lower credit score applicants for mortgages. The new rule, through something known as the Loan Level Price Adjustment Matrix, will lower fees to those with lower credit scores. Now, how does it lower those fees? By increasing them on people with higher credit scores. Under the new rule set to go into effect on May 1st, for mortgage lenders across this entire country, buyers with a score ranging from 680 to 780 will have an increase in their overall mortgage cost than before. The most insane thing is that buyers who are responsible actually put down 15 to 20% will have the largest increase in fees. Consider someone who has saved up for years, they have paid off their loans, they worked hard, they didn't go out to eat, they drive a crappy car. Let's say that person has a 740 credit score and is able to put down 15 to 20%. That person will now face an overall 1% surcharge in fees as compared to the old fee of 0.25%. Now, put that in perspective, it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you take out a $400,000 loan with a 6% mortgage rate, the buyer would then expect their monthly payment to increase by $40 per month. Again, you say that sounds small. $40 over a 30-year mortgage is $14,000. Now say that you have a credit score of under 670 and you're only putting down 5. For you, your fees actually get cut in half. Now, once again, this is backwards. A person who is putting down less cash with worse credit is getting basically a thank you from the government.
Right.
Now, even crazier is that this is a moderate proposal. Actually,
this is why I don't like government in a lot of the tendrils and
this
anything.
definitely supports the cause of libertarianism, because this is over-regulating at its best.
You put forward.
It is worse, actually.
They have an even worse one that is set to go into effect in August. The new rule limits fees and considerations of brokers on those who have debt-to-income ratios of over 40%. Think for 1 second. We're talking about making it easier for someone who has a debt-to-income ratio of 40% to increase the amount of mortgage debt that they have. Does that make any sense at all? Or does it sound like a 2008 type disaster?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's where the problem is going to happen again.
Where people can't afford homes, get into them anyways, and then we have an overall collapse where they're later on destitute. I want people to understand this. I am not being callous. I believe it is a crime. Many poor people in this country don't have a fair shake, don't have access to homes, and it manifests in a lot of racial ugliness. The way to solve that is not to penalize responsible home buyers or simply lift the cap on debt-to-income ratio. The way is not through this affirmative action nonsense. It's universal policy. The price of a home in the U.S. right now is higher than ever in all major metropolitan areas, over $500,000. That's a problem for the middle class and the poor alike. By reducing the cost of building and more starting homes, voila, you made housing cheaper for everyone instead of pitting people against each other on a limited basis. Or maybe that's too ambitious. Let's just look, why do poor people have such awful credit in the first place? Maybe it's because a man named Joe Biden, when he was a senator from Delaware, became the greatest friend to the credit card industry in Congress, loosened regulation, increased interest, didn't restrain their marketing tactics, flooded the poor and middle class with junk consumer debt products, and then stripped them the ability to file bankruptcy or not even get into it in the first place after they lost their job. You want to fix this? We got to go way deeper than credit scores. We have to nuke the entire system, the profiteers, the barriers for everyone, instead of trying to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic and make them more equitable. I mean, you said, Crystal, this has sparked a lot of outrage. I think.
Hey guys, ready or not?
And that's the thing that does kill me. It does spark a lot of outrage.
Yeah.
But again, it's not getting as much play as a lot of people because a lot of people, and this is one of the reasons I am happy to bring these stuff to you guys on the show, because a lot of people don't, that. And you asked a question the first time I brought you in when you said we go through so many topics. I gotta do it, and I try to have a sense and like a sense around what I'm talking about. Is because a lot of these things, a lot of people never heard about it.
Right.
They never seen there's people out there who never seen Kamala's really talk. They saw it.
Yep. They saw that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So they never seen what's going on. There are a lot of people who are Republicans or conservatives never know, oh, there's a ban to stop this crap going on. Again, I don't like that it's a law, but it's there. Or in Kentucky, how they did that same thing. That's there. Or if you talk about North Carolina, we know we have a Democrat governor, but we have a Republican lieutenant governor, and you see the bumping heads of those two. That we don't whatever. So this is why I do all this stuff into what I do, and again, some of these stories a lot of people are never gonna have. But you could go back to on Project Go Back on YouTube and also on Spotify, and you could go and say, hey, this and this, that, this and this, and show it to your friends, whatever. Because I always bring my receipts. Okay, I don't walk out without getting my receipt now.
Yeah.
So that's that situation, right? So here's this one right here. Here, I've debunked this multiple times before. 2 more videos. I've debunked this multiple times before. But again, here are heretics. Literally straight up heretics. I'll just play the video.
We want to pay higher taxes, and everyone else wants to pay higher taxes as well.
All right, guys. These are billionaires saying they want to pay higher taxes. My wife saw this when I did our taxes this year. There's a part at the end of the taxes that says if you want to give more money to taxes, you could voluntarily give your money. But none of you sons of a guns do that. Okay? None.
Virginia hair salon. But like a growing number of Americans, she uses the flexible hours to earn some extra cash. How many different
And this story is really about also if you use Cash App, Venmo, all this stuff as well too. They're finding ways to again, you working maybe gain maybe $5,000 a year if you do something simple on the side or whatever. They get into your pockets,
right?
But the billionaires, they don't give a damn. And when let me debunk this crap too. When people like this, because Joe Biden always says this, and most Democrats says it irks me. Oh, these companies make a lot of profit and they don't get taxed on it. Okay, if you think these companies do not pay a lot of taxes, you're an idiot. They pay payroll tax. They pay taxes on the stuff that they buy to use. They pay tax on the gas that they use. They pay taxes. And and they pay, and yes, their profit, they don't get the tax onto it. And I think they should to a degree. But again, if that's what it is, that's what it is. And so, remember, and some of the states who let this happen, they let them have it this. Sure. So just remember, your politicians let this happen too. So that's what it is. To get them, oh, come to our neighborhood. We won't give you taxes for 10 years. That's a Republican and a Democrat. Both parties is in this one. Okay? Just letting you know that. But for us, the regular middle class people, because we're middle class, outside said it before, the rich will get richer, the poor will keep on getting effed over, and the middle class will get effed up because we just gotta bend right over.
Side hustles do you have?
I think last year I had 8 1099s.
She works weddings and promotes musicians, collecting most of her income through payment apps like Venmo.
if I didn't have multiple ways that somebody could pay me, I feel like I would lose business.
The apps are easy to use, but starting next year, filing taxes for millions of people could become trickier. A new IRS rule will require anyone earning more than $600 on payment apps in 2023 to receive a 1099-K form. The old threshold was earning $20,000.
Which I have no problem with
That's
that.
a big jump.
That's 20,000.
20,000 to 600.
Over 200 transactions.
This is not a tax law change. This is just a reporting requirement for those third parties like Venmo, PayPal, and the credit card companies.
Sure it is. Like, we're not boo-boo the fool.
The IRS expects an initial surge of 4 million of these forms next year, which it says it can handle. But there are businesses.
Of course they can.
Yeah, and they're lying too. They ain't. But we'll go
They
there.
can handle getting your money, that's for sure.
Concerned handling all the paperwork from this change could be like taking on a whole nother job in and of itself. Businesses like Dennis Turbeville, a Maryland furniture maker, takes nearly all of his payments through apps and worries he'll make a mistake when the government is asking for its cut.
See, that's the problem. If you make a simple mistake on something, they come after you with the
right.
A penalty for a business that's doing $2 million a year. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
For somebody like me, that's a big deal.
The IRS says money exchanged between friends shouldn't be taxed and warns users to classify those transactions as personal, not goods and services. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Alexandria.
Yeah, so that's what the Democrats actually mean when they say tax rich, okay? They don't mean that they're actually really going to tax people that make over $400,000. No. They want to tax you if, you have these small business, transactions through Venmo or, Cash App or whatever. And usually, maybe some business owners will.
So I want to go to this point. I'm jumping around because, again, just to the timing, but yeah. So here's this right here. Listen to this right here.
Credit shout out here. This is from Stephen Moore. Okay, Stephen Moore did this, okay?
Listen to the heretics.
I'm a former managing director at BlackRock. We want to pay higher taxes, and everyone else wants to pay higher taxes as well.
Everyone else want to pay higher taxes? Really?
Okay, Stephen. Sure.
No. You know what? Let me do it better.
Holy Jesus. No.
Hi, Steve Moore here. I'm here at the Patriotic Millionaires press conference where a bunch of millionaires said they want to pay higher taxes and they're advocating for it, but they won't sign a pledge saying they're willing to pay the taxes that they endorse. In fact, not one of these patriotic millionaires raised their hand and said, I'm willing to pay more taxes voluntarily.
Because you got a volunteer. You could do that.
Welcome to tax day, one of the most segregated, most unequal, and one of the most unjust days of the year in America.
You ain't gotta tell me about that.
It's about billionaires owning super yachts and Rolexes, while hardworking people are struggling to afford their rent or going to sleep hungry.
I can say what I can say, but I don't want to say it.
The poor and the working class are not going to bring this country down. It's the wealthy that'll bring the country down.
It's time.
I agree with you on that because y'all are evil sons of guns. Y'all type of wealthy because y'all are hypocrites. This right here, this one had me laughing.
To enact a new tax code that requires those who benefited the most from America's economic structure to recycle a significant portion of that benefit back into our society rather than allowing them to amass fortunes so large that they threaten our democracy.
You know who she is?
This is the Walt Disney heiress, Abigail Disney.
Okay, then give
She's
up your
probably
money.
the most richest person
Yeah,
there.
give up your money. And you didn't do nothing to get the money.
Not a thing.
You just daddy did all the work and you did it.
Family. Oh my gracious.
Can you believe the crap that comes out of people's mouth?
That was the funniest.
Oh no.
Oh, it gets better.
It gets better.
Yeah, no, so this is a Disney heiress, I believe. And she's talking. They don't pay more, right? It's again, they don't empty out.
Just for that. But again, on the tax form, when you at the end, it says if you want to voluntarily pay more taxes, it says it.
I wish we took a picture of that.
No, anybody can look at it, their forms and see at the end. It says it. It says it. So listen. So like you said, listen to the crap. Again, all these people up here are what? Here's the people. All these people up here who says this. This is why I said they laugh and they laugh right into your face. These are Democratic billionaires. Not Republican millionaires.
Right.
Because they ain't stupid enough to know they know what it is. These are Democratic billionaires putting up a front fascia.
Yes.
A front fascia on this. So listen to this.
Hi. Thank you, by the way, for doing this. And it's incredibly patriotic what you're talking about in terms of being willing to pay more taxes. I think, Myron, you started out this press conference by saying you want to pay more taxes. And so I represent a group called the Committee to Unleash Prosperity, and we have these pledges. How many of you are millionaires here? I know you are, a number of you. We're hoping that each one of
and some of these are politicians too. You see millionaires, yeah, we're millionaires. Yeah.
of you will sign this pledge, which says that you will pay a 90% tax, just as you're endorsing today, because you say it's your patriotic duty
How
to do
dare
so.
you hold my
And so
feet
I'm
to the
hoping
fire.
that each one of you will sign this pledge that says I'm willing to pay a 90% tax because it's your, as you said, it's your patriotic.
So let me understand.
It's
You
your,
want me to do that individually, or you want me to do it?
Miss Disney. Yeah, let's get people. I've got pens. Let's sign these. You know, that you'll so we can solve the problem. No, we want. You all said that you wanted to pay. You said you wanted to pay more taxes.
No, that's not security. That's the politician.
Oh, he's a politician.
No, yeah, he's not a security. He was the first one who talked, the Hispanic one who talked about the thing.
No. You said you want to pay.
No, change the system. What does the system got to do with anything? You have the right to do it.
Make this stuff up. Oh
More
my
taxes.
gracious.
So don't you think it's your duty?
You want to change the law. Here's the heiress saying you got to change the law. No, you can do it voluntarily. Like you just said, you don't need nobody to force you to do this. You can do this.
I'm sorry. Don't you think it's your patriotic duty to pay more taxes if you're saying that?
that the voluntary paying of more is not going to happen.
But you all are millionaires. Right?
The voluntary ain't gonna do it, but we still. And let's be honest, okay? I've said this before.
Okay, I'm just because you guys are millionaires, and you're saying you don't want to pay more. Wait, you do or you don't want to pay more taxes? What?
Yes, it's disingenuous to say
Why?
that the voluntary change to the law is going to make a structural difference.
But you all could make a huge difference.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of hypocrisy when a bunch of millionaires get together and say raise taxes, but they're not willing to pay them themselves. Out of the 20 millionaires here, not one of them was willing to pay more taxes.
And let me put this again. I've said this before multiple times when people try to hit me with, oh, the Republicans or whatever. Nancy Pelosi is worth $100 million. She got houses all over the place. Obama has houses all over the place. All that stuff. Here's the thing. They're not going to listen to what they get. You think they're gonna write rules to tax themselves?
Exactly.
It's not. That's the part that always like irks me. They don't want to pay them taxes themselves.
Right.
One and two. Those same billionaires got enough lawyers and enough money to find loopholes to get the hell out of it. I did a video showing how they made those loopholes. I might need to do that to show that video. Go to the raw file in YouTube. This is the only place that has it. Go to the raw file on YouTube. You're gonna see a tax video talking about billions and how stuff. That showed you how they get around the loop. They know what they're doing. They ain't stupid. But people gobble it up. Oh my God, they're fighting for us because they said tax the rich millionaires.
Right.
They're millionaires themselves.
Exactly.
They're not gonna pay it. Like simple sense. Okay? Simple sense. That's what it is. So I got one more video to go and we're done for the night. and this is one of my wife ain't seen, and this is her reaction, because it's just funny. I've talked about this before, right? Y'all asked for it. This is what y'all gonna get. I don't like in the description. I said we're making we're making desert wastelands, food wastelands, because at first I used to be like, okay, I used to understand the desert, the food desert stuff for a while, and I was like, when I was young, I thought that. When I look at it more and more, and I work in a grocery store, Harris Teeter, and I see the buffoonery that people try to steal and do stuff. I'm sorry, if you don't take care of your stores, nevertheless the mom and pops, because I said it in the last show, the politicians bring in Walmart, give them incentives, kills off the mom and pops, because y'all didn't care about the mom and pop shops, right? And even if there are mom and pop shops, like in New York, I showed a video of a pharmacy, of a black guy who had a pharmacy to help people in a certain area in New York. But when COVID happened and these badass kids, I'm sorry, I'm calling it what it is, went in there and destroyed his shop, destroyed his pharmacy. He said he's not rebuilding it because he didn't have enough insurance, including with a pharmacy. People are like, oh, do you have insurance? Insurance don't cover everything. One and two, those drugs and those things, as we pay, as you see my bills, I gotta pay for my pharmacy. You know that for your mom and dad. Like some of those medicines are $900, $200, $300. Insurance is not gonna cover that.
Yeah.
So that's the crazy part. So it's crazy. So they destroy the mom and pops. They're bringing the Walmarts and the Targets. You keep on destroying them, and then they say, you know what, we're not making money. Adios.
Right.
And then you got a desert. You have a desert. It happens because we need to stop. You got parents, please watch over your kids. And again, and you politicians about, oh, can we remember we played a video of the Chicago mayor was like, we should not punish these kids.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, punish them. I'm sorry.
Exactly. That was such an ignorant. Oh.
Wow. Anyway, this you want it. This is what you get. And most of us say, "Oh, this is racist, whatever." But if you want to keep your Target and your Walmart in your stores, this is what you gotta do. But the reason why these stores are leaving is because of degeneracy. That's just what it is. Look at this. This is Target in San Francisco. Oh crap, did the wrong thing. My mistake.
These brilliant diamonds were not dug up.
This is Target in San Francisco. I could think we didn't need music in this case or anything. They have locked up every single thing. If you're shopping, you better call somebody to give me this. Okay, close it back. You want to give
So I wonder with that type of structure, does it create you to have more people on the floor?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Which is not enough because it's Target. You know how much people in Target? I went to Target today. There's so many people in there.
It's like a merchandise prison.
But it got to do it because
I understand the motives behind it.
Yeah, you see.
Locked up in Walmart, y'all. Why the baby clothes locked up? Bitch, y'all be stuck. Be serious.
Grocery stores doing the exact same thing too.
These are the times we're in.
Yep. Gotta put all that down. Make sure they're locking everything so you can't jump over, go over, nothing.
Right.
But there are people, remember this what we did?
Yeah.
It's a liquor store in Compton. One door. Two-door. You gotta get buzzed in. And that door locks back as soon as you walk in. Look, and then look at the race of these people doing this. This is a grocery store.
What?
Oh my God.
I think one of you guys go see what car they're driving, get the license. Get the license plate of the car. License plate.
Wow.
No se puede, ¿no?
OMG.
Now, there are white boys there doing that, and there are some white kids are doing this too. Let me not say it ain't. But where most of the videos have been this tomfoolery.
Surveillance
No, they're not.
video shows the chaotic scene. Hundreds of people swarm the front of the closed Walmart, shattering the glass doors and forcing their way inside.
We believe at least 200 storm into the Walmart.
Many have their faces covered. Others are clearly smiling as they rush inside the store and start looting and causing damage. In the footage, you can see people grabbing televisions and trying to get into cash registers.
Approximately $116,000 worth of merchandise
116,000.
Wow.
And damage was reported from Walmart.
Tampa 911, what is the address of your we're getting breaked into CVS.
CVS.
On 30th and Fowler, right?
The sheriff's office and the Tampa Police Department are investigating more than 40 businesses that were set on fire, damaged, or burglarized during the unrest of the last 2 weeks.
Well, there you have it, folks.
And you want to say, oh yeah, oh they're doing this because it's racism. It's but no, y'all doing it to your own neighborhoods.
Right. Keyword, your own neighborhood.
Yeah. So I'm supposed to have sympathy for that? I don't. I do not. I don't. People could call me whatever. I don't care. My thing is, you should rate this. This is it's sad, and this is happening in a lot of places: California, Oregon, Washington State, Maryland, DC, of course, New York, Chicago. There is a through line to all that. All those states are blue states. Just letting you know. But that, like, what was? I'm sorry. My son ever do that? Oh hell no!
And that's where it first starts. They should be afraid of the consequences of what they face from their home, from their parents. Yeah. That's sad.
No. And that reflects back to the last show we did, which aired last night. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, but if you're watching that other shows, then the last show we did, where you saw these kids rioting in the streets. Why? Why are they downtown doing that? I remember there's a video where the mother said, and she said, my son's a good son, according to what she said and everything. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. But she said that's the first night I let him out because he wanted to go with his friends. And I said, you know what? Now I'm gonna keep him in. I said, let me go to the friends. And she said, yeah, now I wish he didn't with all that stuff. He didn't get killed, nothing but just like that. I'm like, you know, he should just be out there with his friends. I'm gonna tell you right now, my mom didn't play that with me. Okay, friends, men's. Unless it was adult in the area, but I was not going out to do none of this stuff. I didn't, like I said, I barely been out by myself until I was in 11th grade. Really, that's it. Even though I've been out, when I had to go play baseball and do sports, or when I started to do music and stuff like that, an adult had to be around with that.
Right.
And that's the same thing will be with my son or my daughter. I'm not playing that. No, your child, stay home, whatever. But I have to have a life. You have plenty of life when you leave the house.
Right.
When you're 18 and you make your own money and do stuff, go right ahead. Right now, these are the rules because the world out there is crazy. And I trust you have good judgment, but not even that. Thinking on your feet and getting, like we played a video of the guy who said, this was different. They went to a party, so this is a different story. I might have let them go to a party. They went to a party and the shooter happened. What happened in Alabama? That it was messed up. He said, "I would run away. That my friend went into the bullets, and he was crying because he felt he could have literally. He was right there to bro, go this way. This is a young boy crying out because his best friend just got shot for no apparent reason." And that's all thinking on your feet kind of situation. Okay? So, again, I'm just saying to many people out there, be careful of what's going on in that. We just showed you a lot of things that's going on right now. And a lot of people don't know about the whole like my wife just said, the stuff I brought up to you guys, I bet you a lot of people didn't know about it.
Yeah.
The MCs, yeah. I'm Vietnamese. I have friends who was so. I apologize. But point taken, I'll get to the stuff, whatever. But it's sad what's going on. It's just pointedly sad out there. So, really, just points that I brought up so you guys can see it. The housing market, that's unfair. Remember, Joe Biden said equity, all this stuff. If Kamala Harris wins, it's because she's black. That's it. It's nothing else. She has not done good policies. She's not been a good candidate. She's been like this all the time. It's just crazy what's going on right now. So we need a backbone. There's some things that we said that we just saw. There was a laws that's being passed. I wish it wasn't laws, but that's what we gotta do right now because it's getting ridiculous. If they're writing laws that you could do one of the things, you gotta fight back with laws. It's stupid in my opinion, but I get it. Okay?
Yeah.
And it again, be careful of what's you're learning these things. And these kids right now, they're putting themselves in some dangerous situations.
Yes.
We've seen what the schools are doing. We've seen how it's just getting worse in some cases. Please grow back on America. Again, we don't gotta say that, hey, you got transgender, blah blah blah, but your kid, he 18. Let's do that.
Right.
If you want to do that, you want to go do all that stuff, do it with your money, not my taxpayers' money. In the last video we talked about, if you do all the stuff that we wanted in the schools, it don't cost $8 million to do things. Point taken, I got to pause it for a second because it just came out. In the last bill that they passed, the Build Back Better, not the Build Back Better, the reduction, which is the most stupidest bill I ever heard of, the Reduction Act, Inflation Act, which causes more inflation. There were $800 million supposed to go to help the parks around America. $800 million supposed to go to run the parks all around America, help the parks beautify, whatever. All 800, and you could go look this and Google this up. All $800 million went to the Nancy Pelosi Park in California.
And there you have it, folks.
Every single money that was supposed to be for hundreds of parks went to one park. One.
There you have it.
And you tell me that's fair.
Right.
So, with that, like I said, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your neighbors, take care of your community. That's the best way we could do this. If you're gonna vote on all the stuff, local voting is more important than national. Yeah, national has its problems, but these people, the local president, your local politician has more effect on you than anything. Anything else you want to say, my lovely dear?
I think we laid it out there tonight. Thank you guys for listening. And as always...
Oh, sorry, because I'm drinking the water. I apologize. But anyway, just like we have with these kids and everything, okay, right? Just be a good person, because you know what? Good comes in all these things, but evil comes in all shapes, color, creed, size, height, gender, sex, nationality, location, block. Evil's evil. I don't care. I wouldn't agree with that. Right? And looking in the world and you seeing the decisions you gotta make, it makes a difference. With that said, remember, people are stupid, individuals are smart. Be that smart individual.
Amen.
Again, remember, check out on Facebook, Project Over Mike, on YouTube. You can get all of the back stuff that we have. If you missed last week's video, it was for a reason. If you or whatever, go back to YouTube, check it out. Episode 104, this is 105. And again, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, any place you have, you do live Twitch, check us out there. All right. With that said, again, hope you guys have a blessed week, a blessed weekend, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.